Y'all ready to go check on Ducky? So this happened this week. Kitten George got a promotion because there are some new kids in town. Jeremiah's sister called us the other day and asked us if we could take these two kittens. And since we're just down to one farm cat, George, we said okay. I'm hoping that I don't regret that decision next year. Because cats can kind of be a pain in the garden when it comes to digging and using it as a litter box. However, whenever you've got outbuildings and barns and back porches where your kids strow corn all over the place, mice can be an issue, and so it is good to have farm cats. I'll come back and introduce you guys where you can actually see their faces a little better once they're not eating. But this is Gary. He's the second cat named Gary we've had. One of our best cats we ever had was named Gary. We had him for a while. He was an old man when we got him from the animal shelter. And then this is Gail. Maya, I didn't know you were so popular with the ladies. They're screaming your name.
I've always been popular with the ladies.
Oh my gosh. We moved Ducky outside last night. So it's her first night to stay outside for a little while. She's doing pretty good. She seems better as far as how she's feeling. She's strong, she's not so wobbly, she's not listless anymore. I mean, she seems completely back to normal, except her legs don't work. So obviously that's a problem. And I've been keeping her in a bin in the living room, which is great for when we were having to give her shots like every 6 hours. But the treatment said to back off the every 6 hour shots after so many days. And so we're past that. And she seems well, except her leg's not working. And I thought, well, I don't think I'm helping that by keeping her in this bin. So we moved her out to a stall, and we've got water and food roll next to her. Jeremiah's already been out here to check on her once this morning, but I'm gonna come out and look at her now. So we're getting her some fresh food and water. She is acting just completely like she feels so much better, but she's having a hard time standing up. She's trying. She's really trying to stand up. And honestly, her legs are so much stronger even now than they were yesterday. Like, this movement she was not capable of yesterday. So we're gonna work with her, like standing her up, trying to help her put some weight on her legs and get some strength back in them. Last night when I moved her out here and saw how weak her legs were, I was really nervous, and we had decided that we were gonna go ahead and take her to the vet today if we didn't see any improvement, simply because I didn't know if there was damage to the point that couldn't like be turned around from. I didn't know, and at this point there's just no way that I could possibly make the choice to put her down. Like, I'm far too invested. However, I'm really happy to see her making such attempts this morning to get up and move. So we're gonna continue with the treatment, continue with the vitamin B and penicillin, the ProBios paste for her rumen. We have given her selenium. That was the first thing that I did because I thought it could have been selenium deficiency. She's not wormy. We've checked on that. Someone said CAE, that was another thing someone said that they thought it could be. I don't think so, because the last time I heard was tested, it was negative. Of course, you know, I mean, there could be something crazy going on that I don't know about, but I don't think that's what it is. I really think we pinned it with the polio listeriosis diagnosis because of how well she did respond to that treatment as far as no longer being sick. So let's just hope her legs start working. You got a whole bunch of people cheering for you, girly. You got a whole bunch of people cheering for you. Is that good? Are those good scratches? This is Darling, and we have let her be in here with Ducky since we moved her back out here. Since we are so pretty sure that this isn't something contagious, Darling has been really stressed since Ducky's been staying in the house, so she seems a lot happier this morning. Oh, can I start actually calling him Cat George? I don't know if I can do it.
He looks like a cat.
Oh, he especially looks like a cat now that we have those babies. You can be big kitten George. I don't know, guys, what do you think? Can I change it to Cat George? I don't know what he got into, but he's a mess. Clover, back up, silly. We're looking for a La Mancha buck to breed our girls to. We have 2 full-blood La Manchas and then 1 that's a mix, and we like them a lot. Their milk is just like really, really good. And so we're gonna get a buck to breed them, and kind of looked at a couple different ones. I haven't found one yet that's close enough for me to go get, but I was talking to my friend Amanda about what we would name him, and she said Vincent Van Gogh because the whole cutting off the ear thing. La Manchas don't have external ears. I thought that was really clever. Hey, aren't they so goofy looking? They're so weird. I love them. Honestly, these are 2 of my favorite goats, is Anna and Clover with their little no ears. She needs some copper. She's starting to look a little bit red. And here's my little mixed La Mancha right here. This is Margot. She's kind of wild. Her mom is Maggie, who was my very first goat right here, the blonde. And she is half La Mancha, half Nubian, but she's currently bred to Cole, our little Nubian buck. She'll be one of the first ones to kid this year. Her and then Nestle and Sook right there. Sookie. Con is in for a long winter. He does not like to be cold. This morning it was 38 outside, and we put him outside, and he literally got to the door and just turned around and walked back in the house. We're like, no buddy, that's not how this works. You gotta go potty. So all of these girls are in here with the Sonnin, Christopher Walken. And one of my big goals this year with breeding our goats is to get a couple of good Nubian Sonnin mixed does. My friend Lisa lives here pretty near me, and she has a line of Sonnins that she's been working on for the last few years that have the milk capacity. It blows my mind because, you know, we have pretty large dairy goats, Nubian La Manchas. They're known for being dairy goats, and they make a pretty good amount of milk. But Lisa will literally get like 2 gallons out of one goat in one milking. And Christopher Walken is from her goats. She gave him to me. I will link her Instagram down below if you want to follow her farm. But she gave me Christopher Walken, and my goal and what I'm trying to do is I'm breeding him to my bigger Nubian girls, the ones that I feel like can handle that, because you don't want to breed a goat that's too small to a buck that's too big, or else you have complications in kidding. But I'm trying to get out of all of that, I want to get at least 1 or 2 does that are a mix of those milk lines with the Nubian's better fat to have in our herd. What are you thinking about? Pretty light. Yeah, it is pretty, isn't it? The trees are so beautiful right now. They're just about to peak. I mean, here in a little bit. This is about as pretty as it gets. And look what we have here. So here are our Mangalitsa's. They have been in lockdown. Oh man, I have a funny story to tell you. A funny story?
Is it funny?
I don't know if Jeremiah's laughing yet. I was laughing for about half of it and then I stopped laughing. So our last vlog ended at 3 in the morning when we got home with our Mangalitsa's. Jeremiah was unloading them out of the truck in the cage he had built in the back of the truck into this little pen we have, and the bottom is reinforced. So we thought this would be good for the pigs. They won't be able to dig out. We reinforced it so predators couldn't dig in. And we needed to set up basically the area where we're going to train them to a hot wire, because with pigs you have to set the hot wire up and then a barrier behind it so that if it shocks them and they go forward, they learn that they have to go backwards, so that they're then trained to hot wire.
Well, I thought I could do it by myself.
He underestimated the wiliness of pigs. It was, to be fair, our first night as pig farmers.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning. We just driven 4 hours back from Missouri.
But one of the, was it gilts?
Yeah, one of the little girls.
Busted
very
out,
small. They're very small.
Busted out and took off.
Strong.
But then so did the boar, so I blocked the boar in the other gilt while the other one took off. I couldn't keep track of all of them. And when I got them secured, we went to go look for the other little gilt, and she was gone. Like gone.
She
like,
was just
nowhere to be seen. Couldn't hear her. Like, I was like, I don't know how she moved that fast. I didn't know they could move that quick.
Move fast.
So we did find her in the 170-acre field next door, and then we chased her around for 3 hours until we finally football tackled her.
Actually, it was one of those times that, like, had we had the wherewithal to vlog this, it would have been hilarious. But it was so not funny at the time because we were exhausted.
I don't know, there had to have been a little bit of editing.
Yeah, it was.
Because, listen, I love the Lord, but I was tired and I was mad, and I may have let some words that I would not let my kids say come out of my mouth. If we're being honest.
It was rough. Okay, the scene, let me just paint the scene for you. Whenever we caught this pig, we were all the way down in the field adjacent to our property. So, I mean, we're like acres and acres away from our house. Thankfully, Jeremiah's sister was here asleep in the house with our kids. We're all the way down there. We have already cornered this pig about 3 times, and she's taken off. And then we lose her for 30 minutes, and we have to find her again.
I literally had my hands on her and couldn't hold on.
Yeah. Well, so finally we get there, and I end up taking my shirt off in this field and, like, cornering her up against the fence and waving my shirt like a matador, while and basically, you know, narrowing down her range of where she's gonna run, which Jeremiah stood in the way like in a catcher pose, and when she came, he threw his body on top of her, and then we carried her home upside down. And that was our first night as pig farmers.
Yeah.
Welcome to the farm, pigs. Don't you know, though, that when I woke up the next morning, I wasn't even mad at them. I just loved them so much. I just want to come pet their fluffy little bodies. So they're locked down in here. After that instance, Jeremiah was not taking any chances. So he's got this closed. He's got an extra bit of netting, 6x6, a cattle panel that is ratchet strapped down over the front of it. Like, they are not getting out of this thing.
I'm not chasing her again.
And actually, on the list of projects for this afternoon, what he's going to be working on is getting our, like, pig pen set up, because we actually have something else coming to the farm this weekend, because, you know,
I haven't ran that much since I was in boot camp. Like, my feet hurt. I've done enough cardio for the rest of my life. I'm never running again.
When we first caught her, I still thought it was kind of funny. Like, I was still laughing a little bit. I was just like, so, how do you like being a pig farmer? And Jeremiah's done. Like, he was done. There wasn't anything even remotely funny about it to him at that point. But then we had another hour of chasing them around, getting them in that pen. We didn't get to bed till after 6 o'clock in the morning. And by the time that was the case, like, when I'm standing there swaying and, like, exhausted and knowing my kids are gonna wake up in like 30 minutes, at that point, it stopped being funny to me too. Here's a new addition to the chicken coop. I may run by and get some pansies to put in here today.
I still gotta finish building the bottom.
Oh, never mind. I won't. I love the fall so much. So beautiful. We have some friends coming over for dinner tonight, and so I'm about to go grocery shopping and get the ingredients to make some steak chili. But I was walking through the garden real quick to just kind of see what else I could throw with that. I think I'll probably just make a salad out of here, because I've got lots of good lettuce and greens and some other things I can put in it. One thing that I want to do before it freezes is I need to cut off some of these stalks of holy basil seeds to plant next year. Holy basil is going to be on my list of must grow for 2019, which that's a video that I'm working on of just heirloom varieties that are on my absolute non-negotiable list, and holy basil is one of them. It's also called Tulsi, or sacred basil, and seriously, if you've never grown this, I highly recommend giving it a try. You might want to put it in a pot, as I learned this year. I mean, you can see it's just spilled all out of this bed. It's massive. I don't mind. I have a lot of space, and I am happy to give this big bully plant as much space as it wants because it's amazing. But I understand if you have limited space that you might want to keep it contained, and it really does spread and reseed. But it smells so good. It's got wonderful medicinal properties. It's a great tea. You just pull some leaves and steep it, or you can dry it. Honestly, I will grow it forever just for the fact that I enjoy it so much in the garden. Medicinal properties aside, which there are many and they're wonderful, and also the pollinators love it. So I am gonna have that on my list, which I'm comprising right now, and I will do that video here probably in the next week because I know a lot of people are gonna be starting their seed purchasing here pretty soon. I just got home from running errands in town, and one of the things I had to do was go check my P.O. box. Which, by the way, I cry at the post office every single week, sitting in the parking lot, opening all of the incredible mail that you guys send. Seriously, every week I cry in the parking lot of the post office regularly. So a sweet viewer, Miss Alice, sent my little boys a present. And I thought this would be a good one for you guys to get to see their reaction to. So someone who watches our YouTube sent a present for you guys after she saw a video of your garden. It's your very own seed collection.
I knew it!
Okay, back up, back up.
I knew it.
Okay, now what do you see?
Peaches!
those are radishes, love. And look, yeah, that's beautiful. Ooh, look at that one.
Okay.
Ooh, look at this cool squash. Look at this. This is called garden candy tomatoes. What do you think about that? Can you guys look at the camera right here and say thank you, Alice?
Thank you, Alice. Can we go plant some seeds in the garden?
You want to go plant some seeds in the garden? Well, we do have that garden bed that the doggies dug up. We could plant seeds in there.
You're the best.
You're the best, guys. You're so sweet, man.